December meeting of the Board of Water Commission to order. First on the agenda, a reading of the minutes of the previous meeting. Is there any modifications or changes? Otherwise, entertain a motion to accept.
I'll make that motion to accept the minutes.
Okay. Motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carried. Now we're still auditing the bills, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's jump ahead to Cooper Lake improvements.
Okay, right after this meeting, I think Matt and I are heading over to finance to seek the bond issue for Cooper. I think we outlined that a little bit in the handouts that we had. Matt's been working with John Toohey. John usually goes out for bonds in March. We're gonna start construction in the spring. We really should, John would prefer that he got us on the agenda, Matt, as a late communication, so we're scheduled to go over there tonight. And I think we're looking at 15 million. However, 12 million of that is the actual construction. We have about 2.5 million that is the engineering costs, and I know that sounds like a lot for engineering, but over half of that is construction supervision. When you're building or rebuilding a dam, you really need to have the engineer or some construction supervision on a daily basis. You really don't want to find out, it's expensive, more so than it would be if you were running a water main. You could kind of farm that out or check on it every week. And the other thing is there's $1.3 million in costs if we ever have to, in operating costs, if we ever have to activate that Ashokan connection. So while we're going to ask for the authorization for that 15 million, we're hoping we don't spend it.
Okay.
We're hoping we don't have to spend it. We've already gotten 800,000 for the design and 7 million. So we're only really asking for 7.2 in new, but we want the resolution to kind of summarize all of that so we can actually account for it and not have to pay the $800,000 back within the next 2 years. And that's kind of it.
Do you expect any problems?
I don't, but it's never a sure thing. We always get some good questions. And Doug's always very accommodating, so, we're hopeful. They approved the first two,
Okay.
knowing that we were coming back for this third piece. So, I'm hoping we'll be fine.
Okay.
But I never like to presuppose, because, it's their right to say no.
So they've already approved half of the funding already.
Yeah, they absolutely have. And they, they know what we're coming back for. And, the good news is going back now to finance, it's the same finance we were before, twice before. And I think those members are all going to change a lot. There's going to be some significant changes on all the committees because of the new council people that are coming in. And that's just an education process. So. The other issue about Cooper Lake is the trees. I was certainly laboring under the notion that we had to have all the trees down because of the northern long-eared bat between March 31st and you can't cut trees between November 1st and March 31st. And I've been proceeding on that and trying to figure out how we were going to do it because it's going to cost about $100,000 to get the trees down. And I looked at the DEC website today, and there's no one hydrodactyl in the town of Woodstock. So I'm going to just double check that. Their website's pretty, you've had experience with it, I keep looking at you.
Yeah, they usually have an environmental mapper for
Right.
most of their permitting.
So the towns of Ulster, towns of Hurley, they're all there.
We have them here in Kingston.
Absolutely, that's why Pine Grove Avenue. So we may not have that constraint because of the elevation. I'm a little rusty on my bat biology, but anyway, we're going to check that out further. I'm meeting with him tomorrow. The person that did the trees, the ski jump there for the transmission main, he certainly is capable and qualified, he's got the equipment. I would, really be very comfortable if he were doing it. But if we have to go to bid, we're gonna get who we get, and hopefully it's somebody. We're gonna have to write the bid specs to make sure that we're not gonna get, 4 guys and 4 chainsaws. We need a little more than that. So, anyway, that's Cooper Lake.
Is there any way to?
I can write the specs, but you can,
Okay.
yeah, you can, and we can get some help with that. But hopefully, if we don't have to do it in that narrow time frame, then we can include it with, we can negotiate a price, the engineers can negotiate a price with the tree cutter and put that in as a line item, as an allowance in the bid documents.
Right.
And the contractor would hire him at that price.
It's a subcontract.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we did it with.
That's
Anyway.
exactly how we do it.
Okay.
Yes, that's.
Yeah, we didn't go out to separate bid
No,
for that.
no, but so, anyway, that's kind of.
That's that.
Okay, and then in the plans, you said last meeting we have the 90%.
We have them, yes, they're working to finalize it. Greg needs to update me on when we're gonna submit to DEC for the permits soon. And I did as much as I can do on the environmental assessment form. There's some particular things that the engineers have to do, and they have everything that I've done, and they're filling out the rest, and that should be done shortly. And then we'll submit that.
So we haven't submitted anything to any of the
Not that I'm
approving
aware.
agencies, either DOH or DEC.
No,
At this point.
we're talking to, DEC's been in the loop all along on our plans and what we're doing, the dam safety folks. They've been part of the planning process. And DEC has a point person down in Region 3 that, because it's a multi-department review within the DEC. So you got the dam safety people, you got fish and wildlife, you've got wetlands, you got a few other things. And so they actually have done this is their practice. They have one person in the permitting section that, once you submit to her,
Coordinates with
she
the other.
coordinates with
the
everybody
other
else.
division.
It makes it, and all the comments come through her, and so it's one point of contact, and it really is a much more sane setup. And the health department, we're gonna have to, they'll have to approve the Ashokian connection, which I don't think they'll have a problem doing because they're pushing interconnections anyway. It's a good emergency management tool, and they'll have to look over the intake plans, which.
So we won't submit that though until they're 100%.
Yes, and we're working toward that. I mean, so, I would expect that we'll have that before the end of the year, hopefully. Or, let me just say, the end of the year is really close. Let me just say, maybe we'll have it by the end of January.
Good enough. Want to jump back to bills and accounts?
Right.
Okay.
Make a motion, we accept the bills and accounts as presented.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Those in favor? Opposed? Okay, carried. Scada System.
Man, I'm hoping we're almost done. I'm hoping. It's good, it's looking good.
Okay.
It's pretty. We know the alarms are working because we're getting called out. And we're just waiting on that electrician. I mean, he's working, but this should have been done. So, we got about, I don't know how much the value is, we got all kinds of spare parts in the other room. They delivered those already, so. We're almost down to the punch list, I would say.
Okay. So hopefully maybe next meeting we'll
I'll be able to
reporting to
say,
say that it's.
man, let's go downstairs and look at it.
Okay. Good enough. Transmission main rehab project.
You say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I should be very strong by the end of this project. It's going well. The pipeline is actually all the way up the hill. We haven't made the interconnections, but the pipeline is up the hill. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are kind of critical junctures in the project, at least for us. we're doing the line stops, so we're shutting down each of the transmission main. We're shutting down the 18-inch transmission main on Tuesday. And Wednesday is a kind of a catch-up day set up for the shutdown of the 20 on Thursday. We're gonna install new control valves, so we'll never have to go through this again. Garrison is gonna come in and do a line stop on 18 and a line stop on the 20. It wasn't my choice to do it this late in the year, but I guess I can blame the people in 1884 that decided that an 18-inch main was a good main to install, because they're kind of orphan mains, nobody has them. So to get it, it took a month to get a valve on the 18. It just did. Nobody, it's just no. It's like a 14-inch pipe. There's 8, there's 12, there's 16, there's 20, there's 24, there's 36, there's 48. But all that stuff in between, you can get them, but they're just atypical. So it's kind of like having a custom-made door that's not a standard size. Anyway, we'll have 12 people along our Sawkill line out on Tuesday. We've sent them all. Tomorrow they're gonna get door hangers. We've notified the supervisor in the town of Kingston and the highway guy, their highway superintendent. They've been very cooperative, because we're doing one of the line stops on either line is right in their yard. So it's right on our easement right there, where the transmission main break was. They've been really good. They're always pretty good. It should be a long day on Tuesday and a long day on Thursday.
Did they get underneath the interstate yet?
Yes, that was done
Oh, that was on
weeks
Thursday.
ago. Weeks ago, yeah. Once this week is done, they're shutting down till the spring.
So when they do the line stops, they're gonna actually make the interconnections,
No, the line stops.
just to put the valves in?
They're to put the valves in so that when we go to do the connections, we can shut valves that reliably work. They have 12 hours on the 18 to get it back up and running. Because we have customers on the line.
And the customers along Sawkill are only on the 18.
Yeah, St. Anne's is on the 20 for some particular reason. There's nobody there but people in the cemetery.
Right, okay.
I mean, there's no priest there, there's no regular services there. It's.
So everybody basically from the plant down to Vinnie Water that we serve is on the 18?
Yes, yes, and there's 12 people in this impacted region. Health department's aware of what we're doing. They'll be on boil water for a couple of days. The notice we sent to them tells them to, fill the tub up so they can have water to flush toilets. We're gonna give them a case of bottled water, and we'll deliver more to each house. They're gonna deliver them tomorrow, and they're gonna see, I think a couple of them are summer homes, or second homes. There's a couple of Brooklyn addresses in Monroe, and then there's a couple of Florida addresses. And that just could be winter, summer people, a typical. It's an older community. These are the same names we've had for 30 years on here, with a couple of exceptions. So,
Julie, can I ask a question? When we're done with this transmission main, where the redundancy goes from where to where exactly?
it goes from the filter plant down, there's two mains.
Mhm.
And they go right by the thruway, there's a valve yard. And from that point, and it's easy to see, because as the mayor said, we cut those trees, you can drive up and down the thruway. If you look at that point, you can see like a new ski jump.
Mhm.
So you could, at the top, you could probably fly over it and land in that old cornfield. You ski all the time, right? You could try it. Let me know.
I'm not sure I would want to, but go ahead.
Go ahead, it's all right. So from that point, from that valve yard, there's one line existing going up to the equalizer, and one line that comes down, and then they branch into 3 to come into Kingston. So we have no redundancy right there. Those mains were installed in 1927, and they can't be taken out of service.
Mhm.
I know, I kind of think they're probably, the joints might be leaking a little bit here or there.
So from Vinnie Water to Kingston, we're also making redundant.
We have, from Vinnie Water,
Or we always had that.
we have, yes, at this valve interchange, it's like you have, the plant is here, you've got 2 mains that go to the plant, you have this valve interchange with a bunch of valves, you have one that goes up to the reservoir, one that comes down to the reservoir, and from this point 3 go into Kingston. So we have redundancy here, we have redundancy here, this is our kind of.
We don't have
That
any
was the
redundancy
only
that goes from the valve chamber up or back down out to, I mean,
That's-
if one of those
that's kind of
broke,
a
the only
problem.
thing you could do is take the water straight from the plant into the city.
Yes.
And Vinnie water,
Assuming all the valves work, yeah.
I
Understood.
mean, right, well,
We have some, we can do that, yes. And these our flow is about 4 million gallons. All these mains, no, because we couldn't take them out of service. But these have all been cleaned and cement lined, so their original capacity is still there. I mean, if you take a piece out, which we do from time to time, there's no tuberculation, they're all, any one of these, Jim, about 10 million gallons you calculated, any one of these mains could do a 10 MGD flow
by themselves.
by themselves. I mean, you might lose some pressure.
Right.
We never
The
do that.
220s and the 18.
We never do that. And we're limited by our, safe yield of 6 at the reservoir, and our plant capacity is 8. But these mains are oversized. I mean, there's no question about it, and that's a good thing. So you could take one out for repairs, and nobody would know any different.
Just wasn't sure exactly where the redundancy was already existing and where it ended.
Yeah. There's from the plant to this valve, and when you're coming from Albany, you went past it tonight. You came down through it, right?
I probably did, yeah.
Well, it's dark, I understand
Yeah.
that. But next time you're coming down, just before you get to Boyce's farm, right there, you'll see, it's all clear.
I noticed something was different the last time,
Well,
in
we-
daylight I went by, and I wasn't sure exactly what I was looking
Redundancy,
at.
actually.
We do,
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah, okay.
Where was, but we have one part of the transmission main line is out, right?
Above the plant.
Above the plant.
From Cooper to Reservoir 1, there's one 24-inch transmission main. Cooper Lake to number 2, there's 24, and then from number 2 down, there's like 20. And then at Reservoir 1, we have 2 mains that come into the plant. One of them we've taken out of service because there's significant leaks on it. And that's got to be addressed.
Well, that was one of the projects that we were hoping to,
And we may get to it. We may, we still have some room in the budget here. It's possible. It's possible. But, anyway,
hey,
I'm not ever gonna make my living as a artist, you'll notice that.
I just like a picture, it's good,
hey,
served its purpose.
helps, right?
It does.
It helps,
I
it
think that's
absolutely
it,
helps, I'm a visual person.
Yeah.
Okay, Tech City.
Nobody's paid. I've had several conversations with Jim Highland. I think he's being as straight as he can with me. I think his lawyer has, told him not to volunteer to pay anything. Because I think, he's paying enough out there, and they're in litigation with Ginsburg. It gets complicated. My recommendation is we just send, to bring this thing to a head, we just send out a notice and tell them we're gonna terminate the water as of December the 31st or some other day. And just see who really wants that place to have water. If the county wants to maintain their interest, the county can go. I'm tongue in cheek saying that.
Well, where is the whole project or process with the county? Still in the court system?
I have no idea. I'm not in that loop in any way, stretch or fashion. I could certainly call Dennis Doyle in county planning. I'm assuming he might know. And he might know, and he might tell him that, we don't know.
Okay, I mean, at this point in time, we'll send out a notice, right?
Well-
Have we actually sent anything to,
Ginsburg gets told, he gets a bill, he's billed every month. When the bankruptcy filing went in that we received, and Bill will attend, there's a hearing the 14th, I think. He will be going to that. That can't be the 14th, because 14th is Saturday. At some point, he has the date, he will be going down to Poughkeepsie to see what that's about. He doesn't even believe that it would apply to us in the sense that our contractors with the person in filed bankruptcy with the organization. It's another one of these companies.
So who are we gonna send this,
I'd say we send
Notice
it
to.
to Ginsburg and any tenant, you know, I would certainly send it to the one tenant. I mean, it's not, you know, we've been struggling with this, but this is gonna go on and we're gonna always, we're never gonna get paid.
How many tenants are there?
I don't know. I know there's,
Handful.
yeah, there's a handful.
So
And maybe collectively they wanna do something.
once they officially file the bankruptcy, you'll not be able to shut them off. They'll try to work out something in bankruptcy to discharge the debts, and
Right, except the buildings that have you filed bankruptcy on to date, the water has been shut off. He shut it off,
okay,
and this is the bulk, those buildings are vacant.
okay.
So, you know, I know what he's doing about fire protection and who he's notifying that there's no fire
No
protection in
order.
those buildings, not my problem. So, you know, I'll do what you guys want me to do, but if we don't do something, this is gonna just continue. We're gonna
Yeah, we have
continue
to
to send
do
him bills, we're not gonna get any money.
How many buildings are not in bankruptcy?
I mean, I think everything on the one side of the road, so I think the Bank of America building, that was what was filed for foreclosure and then he put it to bankruptcy. I
Okay.
believe everything on the other side where farm to table is not in bankruptcy yet. But that's just, I don't know for sure.
Well, that's where the water.
And that's where the water is,
is.
right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think that, you know, you've already reached out
I did.
and said, we're willing to take you on as a customer,
Mhm.
basically, if you're willing to pay. And so I think, you know, whether his lawyer or
Whatever
whatnot,
the reason.
at this point, the only thing we can do, I think, is to send a letter stating that, well, okay, well then on December 31st, if this bill's not paid, you're done. And I have the feeling they're gonna come back to the table.
I think they are.
So I think,
I think
the
they
sooner
are.
you send the letter
Send
out,
the letter.
the sooner you get them back to the table and they realize that, you know, they're gonna need to become a customer of ours.
Or, you know, and I was very clear both in a personal telephone conversation and also in an email, and I think I copied both of you on it, that, you know, we want some payment. We're not looking for you to pay all the debts. But we want, from this point forward, we want to see some good faith, and for you to at least pay for the water that you're using. Because while the minimum consumption is there, he's using 75% of the water. So we'd actually be making at least our expenses
Right.
in making that water.
we have sub-meters
Yes, we
over
do.
on that side.
Yeah,
Are they broken down by these
yes.
5 or so customers?
Not
Tenants?
all of them, not all of them.
So some of them are shared.
Some of them are shared, and they're using just sinks and toilets, it's not much.
Okay.
Their fire protection system, had a major leak that they fixed. I believe there's other small leaks. So there's some more, because she has to add water if she's still even there. The person that was doing the maintenance has to add water to that fire protection system periodically. You shouldn't have to do that, you know, unless it's leaking out someplace. It's possible, but 75% of the water that goes through that master meter is accounted for in.
And how do you know, because we have that separate line metered?
Yes, his line is metered separately
The
because.
fire?
And I think, yeah,
Okay.
no, not the fire, Jim Highland, the business, not farm to table.
Oh, how do you
Farm
know
bridge,
that they have leaks in the fire system?
because she
lines?
adds water to the fire system on a regular basis, and you're not supposed to have to do that unless.
Right, but how do you know that she's doing, she's told
She
you that?
told me that, oh yeah, I'm
okay.
sorry, she's told me that.
Yeah.
Because she said I add water to it, I have to add water to it about, you know, once a week, and now I'm doing it like twice a day, and I'm like, you got a big leak. And then it blew out his loading dock, because it was right there by Farm Bridge. But they fixed it.
Okay, yeah, let's send a notice.
Okay. And I think they'll understand that that means the building will become uninhabitable once you shut the fire. We have no way to shut just domestic off and not fire protection. There's no way that I'm aware of that you can do that. You need one master meter and one valve. Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
Okay.
Okay, 2020 budget. You all got that in the mail, right? And I don't know what comes first or second. We need to have a motion based upon our agreement and discussions last year to modify the superintendent's salary. In addition, last year we gave Judy
Right.
5,000 and the discussion was to give her another 5,000 this year.
Right.
So,
So-
it was already included
Yeah, it's in-
in the budget that you got.
So I'll make a motion that we increase, that the $5,000 that is in the budget for, for Judy be ratified.
And I'll second it.
Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carried.
Okay.
So then the second, which needs to be here, is the actual budget that was presented, the draft budget that Matt put together as a result of our
Conversation.
budgetary meeting last month. And I'm assuming we're gonna have to also have a motion to set the rates also. You know,
Yes.
so we have some motion to,
Set the rates first.
I'll make the motion to
Okay.
set the rates at a 5% increase.
I'll second it.
okay, any
And
discussion?
eliminate that one, we're gonna eliminate the 1,000 plus step.
Yes,
Price.
yes, as presented. Okay, so I have a motion, I have a second, those in favor?
Can I just
Yep.
make a comment before, just, you know, in setting rates, I wanted to let you know, I did have a relatively lengthy conversation with Supervisor Quigley.
Oh, you said when you come here today.
Yeah, and I expressed to him that I would share his sentiment with the board, and I figured this would be the time. I think, obviously he recognizes, as does everyone else now in the community, that, you know, we've got a big hurdle to pay for, over the next couple of years, and that, you know, as we've stated publicly, rates could go up quite quickly, you know, with this project. And I expressed to him the board's intent, you know, initially was, you know, to, like, as we've tried to do, is to not have a budget more than 2 or 3% increase each year, and that's kind of the general information that's shared with some of our larger customers, including the town. Obviously, last month that changed, or a couple weeks ago, that changed with the potential concept of, you know, being able to reduce the amount of, you know, impact from year to year to kind of spread it out, by having an additional, you know, 3% rate hike to go up to 5. He understands that, and I think his biggest issue is that, you know, our timeline is really relatively condensed. We're approving this budget like 3 weeks before the budget starts. And so for him and the town, you know, they've already budgeted just at 2%, because that's generally what we thought. And so his hope and his ask of the board is that if there's any possible way for us to start our budget process more in line with the cities and or his towns, to start it in October early and have it done in early November at least, we would at least be able to give that the communities that have these, you know, that also have these increases factored in, to be able to, you know, have a little bit more heads up about what our potential rates may look like. And so I told him that I would share that. I know that we always are waiting for, you know, certain health insurance things to come back and certain other large costs, but I do think that, you know, we probably could start this process a tad sooner.
I think we're continuously doing this process. However, and we can certainly make those deadlines, but the budget is gonna be much less precise.
Yeah.
Because hospitalization is a bigger part of our budget than it is out of your budget, I think, because of how, all the other things your budget encompasses.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, he only got those rates last week. So, you know, we can certainly do it, but you gotta understand that we're gonna be asking for changes during the year or later on, or maybe and Jim did call me during the process. I said, look, we can get this budget resolved, probably 2 to 3% increase. And I said, but it's up to the board. I said, with Cooper Lake looming, we did it last year and we had a little bit bigger rate increase to kind of, and so it's up to them. I can't, and he went ahead and used 2%.
Yeah, and I told him, I said, to
That's
be
his
honest,
problem.
Jim, I was like, it was I think my suggestion to do this at the last meeting.
Sorry,
And so I told him,
I
I
didn't
was
tell him
like,
that.
you know, I said to him, I was like, you know, this was,
I didn't
you know, my idea to try to reduce the impact, which, you know, we're still gonna have higher rates as we saw next year and the year after that and the year after that, but it's better than not 2 this year and 15
Yes.
next year.
Yeah.
Well, and I think Matt did an awesome job on
Yeah.
putting this together to show our potential
Yeah.
increase. He did a nice performance
Yeah.
for us.
And so maybe this won't happen again because if we're willing to share that type of, with Jim at least, you know,
No.
maybe he'll
No
at
problem.
least see kind of what the future may look like for us. Because this is the first year I think we've had someone that's been able to do a multi-year projection for the department like that. So I think that that's really helpful, and maybe that will help him, and that this will just be a one-time thing, but, you know,
We've done them in the past, but we haven't had this challenge
Yeah.
facing us
Yeah.
right here. And we did them all.
I think if you share with them that looking out for 21 on, here's what we estimate the increase to be, that it will help them budget.
The other thing, you know, you could consider in years where, I mean, we could tell them we cap any increase to 5%. We can talk about it, but there may be other ways we can do it where he could play catch up at some point in time. The one thing he did ask me was, he's gonna be about 2 million gallons short of his quota for this quarter. And could he take it like at some point next year? He'll pay us now, the 700,000 gallons a day. What he's supposed to pay us on December, you know, January 1, whatever it is for this last quarter. But he's 2 million gallons short because they had an emergency. They truly they had no power. They couldn't run their plant. Anyway, so,
So he wants to
and I
take an
said,
extra 2 million gallons
at some other
sometime
point.
next year.
And we coordinate when that was gonna be, and obviously he's not gonna take it all at once. And I said, I didn't see a problem with that, because he's paying for it. And it was a result of an emergency, and it, you know, it's the right thing to do, so.
I guess as long as it's not counted for his use for next year.
He'll tell, no, he'll take his, there are times in the summer when he could use to take more water, but he doesn't want to because of the cost, so I think he talked to us about that at one point in the past, so.
Didn't we modify
We did,
even that last year where we were,
right,
it was done on a quarterly basis and we decided we would rectify everything on a yearly basis?
right, but this is so close to the end of the year, it can't happen, and I was like, you know, I think we can work that out,
We can come back and talk to this.
yeah.
Okay.
So that was just my comment that I wanted to.
Okay, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, Ken started earlier and maybe
Certainly
because of
does.
it, we'll have to be maybe a little bit more conservative in our estimates, and which may end up having a larger rate increase, because you gotta sit there and say, well, there could potentially be $200,000 more, so, you know, if we're setting the rates now, we better include the 200,000, and when it comes in, we've already set the rates.
And truly, Matt's doing exactly, you know, he's doing this all the time. He's looking, we're giving you, you know, monthly look backs and comparisons. So he's gathering all this information. We have to do it for our inventory as well. So I mean, we're looking at it all the time. So it really wouldn't be that big a stretch to have it to you by the November 1st, by the meeting in November, or by the meeting in October to vote on in November. But it will be less precise. And that's okay. And you're right, there may be more.
it's at least better for us to give him a higher number,
Exactly.
and then it come in a little lower.
If you wanna start earlier
Then-
next year and
Yeah,
send them a note or something saying, hey, it's looking like this.
similar to like what our insurance carriers do, is they give us, you know, that last they give us estimates throughout the year, but then
Yeah.
that last quarter estimate is usually the one where they kind of try to zero in, but in the end, then they actually publish the rates, and usually it's different. It's usually lower than their middle range.
It has been the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It used to be that you could take that middle number and that's pretty much where it
Yeah.
was. It just doesn't seem to be that anymore.
Well, he's been well aware that we have this Mini Cooper thing, and,
Yeah.
you know, we're looking at 20% increases.
Yeah.
You know, so at some point in time, he's gonna realize that that's coming down the pipe too, so he
Yeah.
needs to put that in his budget at some point in time.
Yeah.
So we have a motion and a second on the table for a rate increase of 5%. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And then the last issue, I guess, is the actual budget. Looking for a motion to accept the budget as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept the budget as presented.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carried.
How about fees?
Oh, okay, yes, well, probably should have included that as part of the,
Well, you can do it separate,
Separate,
you know. The
There were-
fees,
how many, there were 2 or 3?
I think there's 2 changes in that.
The two top changes, then there was the proposal for the leak check fee. That was, the other one
That's
was
brand
slight
new.
increases.
We have always gone and done leak checks for customers with the idea that we don't want anybody to, you know, have a leak and not be able to find it and have to, you know, incur, it's a waste of water, it's a waste of their money. Anyway, and for single-family homes, it's reasonable, it's an owner-occupied house, you go in there, they're happy to have your help, and you go in and you never usually have to go back, because once you show them where it is in the toilet, they fix it or wherever, so that's okay. But these multi-family homes, I mean, you gotta be able to get in to see all the toilets in every apartment. It's a real effort, and then they call you every quarter. I mean, a single-family home, if we came to your house to do it, we wouldn't have to come back, because we'd
They
either
fix
say, we
it.
can't find her, this is where it is, and you'd fix it, and then you'd be more vigilant. And it's never,
Continuous.
it's continuous with some of them, you know, and and we've often toyed with this, and,
So it's just a motivator for them to actually fix the leak the first time.
I mean, you know,
So the leak check though starts at what point in the line? Just as it enters the house, from the house
no, we go.
meter on,
We
or?
have to make sure the bathrooms aren't leaking, we'll go look down. One lady in North Front Street years ago,
Or
we
there's
couldn't-
no way, we're not checking it from the transmission, the service line?
we'll listen for leaks there, we
Okay.
will, but that's usually not where the problem, they're complaining because their bill went up.
Mhm.
Almost in every case, the bill is in the basement, they don't care if they, I mean, unless they can't get any water into the house.
It's from the meter on.
It's, usually their concern is from the meter on, because that's what they're
They're
paying
paying
for. I mean, that's just human nature. And, you know, it's almost always in the toilet, or in a toilet. And, you know, first time you go down and you look at the meter, and there's usually a dial on the meter, and if there's no water being used purposefully in the house and the meter's spinning, yep, you got a leak, let's go find it. You know, it's, the toilets usually, you get a tenant to tell you, oh yeah, I gotta jiggle that handle, and then I can stop it, right, you know, I stop that noise. Well, there you go. Yeah, we have dye strips we give people, you know, we'll give a landlord 20 of them if they have 20 toilets. I mean, they're inexpensive, they're just little, and you can use food coloring. Oh, a lot of people don't have food coloring in their house anymore. But, you know, and they look at you like, what? Anyway. So we give them the dye, and that's all it is, it's just food coloring on a piece, on a witness paper.
Yeah.
You know, just drop it in, it turns the toilet tank pink or blue. And if you see it in the bowl, you've got a leak. So, that's something we've been talking about in the office for a long time. And it's just, you know, it really is, the multifamilies are a dream. Single-family homes are easy.
Okay, so there's the proposed leak check fee, and then there's the tap fees.
Right, to reflect, I mean, I hate to say with the tariffs and things, but the metal pricing, it's going up.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to accept the proposed leak fee and tap fees
Second.
as stated.
I second it.
Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Okay. Carried. Moving on then, correspondence?
I have nothing, but I have two other things that are kind of related to the, ones related to the budget. One is the 2000, it's in the budget, the amount, the 2019 audit by our auditors. It was a 2%, last year it was $20,600, this year it's $21,000. It's a, Matt has included the $20,000 in the budget. I just need a motion to hire these guys and, as our auditors. We met with them today. They've had some personnel changes, so we kind of got this late.
Okay, so what's the
Okay.
cost, the contract cost?
1,000 more than in the budget.
600.
600 more than.
No, it's the same,
Yeah, the
no, budget has the
21,
correct amount.
exactly.
Okay.
Last year, it was $20,600. This year, it's $21,000, a delta of $600, which is equal to 2%. They're gonna start in January, if this is approved. They're a huge help to us, I mean, in terms of, for that $21,000, not only do they do our audit, but they're available for questions and emails all year long.
Oh, it's important. I'll make a motion that we approve them for the audit
And I'll second.
at 21,000.
21,000. Okay, have a motion and a second, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
The only
And
other
that's
thing,
with PK.
Patterson, Koski, Howe, and Bucci. PKHB.
Oh, they're one of the new merged firms that they've all
They used to
been,
be Kimball and O'Brien.
yeah, they've all been merging in this area. Okay.
And the last thing I wanted to mention is about the roundabout. Somebody in DOT messed up, and we need the work agreements re-signed because the commissioner is supposed to sign them, and somebody on a lower ladder signed them. So just, I just want you to be aware of that, and you'll sign it when you leave. There's no change in anything we previously signed.
Okay.
And we're not getting any money back either.
Well, they're not asking us
Maybe
to-
that would be the good
I've
change.
never had any anticipation that we would ever see a nickel back.
That was our shot too.
Okay. So who signs them, Dennis?
Dennis signs them, you're right, he's in, I think he already signed the ones for the city.
We don't need a motion to sign them.
No, you've already made that motion.
Right,
This is
okay.
just, they messed up, and we just have to
Okay.
fix it.
That's it.
Okay, superintendent's report? Any-
I have no questions about that.
I didn't either.
I'm scared.
You scared?
He has no questions.
No?
I mean, they didn't make any typos
Wow.
that he caught. Dennis is a very good proofreader.
Okay, so what, need a motion to accept the
I'll make
report?
that motion to accept the superintendent's report.
Second? Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Anything for executive session?
Okay.
Okay,
We have a date for Dennis's retirement from January 30th, which doesn't need any action by the board, it's just,
This is what it is.
it is what it is. And we'll probably come back in February.
February and look for,
For some other thing. All of our new people are working out very well. We're really pleased with them, all four of them.
That's good.
Great, yeah.
We did
You're
okay.
going in January, right?
I will not be back till the middle of April.
But you're gonna call in.
I'll call in every month.
I will not be here that week, that whole week.
I will give you an address where to send me. Yeah. I mean, I'm forwarding my mail, but everything's gonna get delayed, so I'll send you an
Send me
address.
the
so
address,
I'll
we'll
get
send
on
it, and we'll
time.
get that stuff out. I'm trying to get the board packets out early, because the last time we mailed them on Friday morning, somebody does, somebody didn't get them. So we're shooting for, like Wednesday or Thursday, but it really is difficult if the meeting falls very early in the month, it's second Wednesday. But, because the financials, it takes a while to get that stuff closed, but, my report doesn't take long at all, so.
okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Oh.